Hey there, I'm Mark Curley. I'm going to be doing a drawing of a kind of fight pose. I guess you'd call it a pose that typically happens in the middle of a fight when someone has maybe been flying through the air. They land on the ground, but they land in such a way that they're ready to get back up again and continue the fight. You see this kind of thing in Naruto and Full Metal Alchemist and different things like that. I'm going to be drawing my character Hiro from Miki Falls, and in a scene from the last book, not to give too much away, but there is a big fight scene in the last book, and so I'm going to be drawing a picture of Hiro midway through that fight. In any case, I'm starting by doing the loose guidelines here, kind of almost in a stick figure way, I guess you'd say. And by keeping it loose, keeping it a little bit light, I can afford to not have everything absolutely perfect at this stage, just kind of zeroing in on what I feel will be the best places for these lines to land. I guess one of the trickiest parts of this particular pose is that the arm, you have to imagine this arm is moving back away from you right here where I'm putting these lines. So that it ends up being kind of foreshortened. I'm not, I'll admit I'm not a big expert on anatomy. I just do the best I can. And you'll certainly get better if you do a lot of studies from either, the manga that you like best or from photographs and different things like that. For a fight pose, I guess you almost have to have a look at manga, or I suppose you could take photos of somebody doing a fight pose for you or something. But in any case, notice how this shoulder over here is going to have to really come down, kind of curve around as this arm moves forward. And this is an arm that he's thrusting down to the ground to make sure that he lands properly, is able to get back up again. Here's the hand. Let me just sort of very loosely do this for now, and then maybe I'll zero in a second and show my approach to doing a hand, because hands are very complicated with the proportions of the fingers and so forth, so I'll save that for later, but I think I'm getting closer to where I need to be. One nice thing about this position is that you don't have to draw much of a foot back here. It's almost hidden. Back here, you imagine the leg going back, and so long as you get something back there in roughly the right shape, the viewer will see that as the foot, and even the rest of the leg, though they can't really see that. They just sort of imagine it there, hopefully. In any case, let me go ahead and get this foot over here. Feet, a lot of people have been requesting a video on feet, and I think I probably will do that at some point. They can be very hard to do. You see me kind of slowing down at this stage, trying to make sure that I get the at least the rough contours of a foot properly in place. And I think we're getting there. May not be perfect, but how about if I do, kind of like I did with my last fight pose video, and zero in a bit on different parts of this drawing to do the details, and that may help you when you're drawing hands and feet and different stuff like that. Okay, so we're doing one of the hands here. My little trick with drawing hands is I always start with kind of a square here for the palm of the hand. I just sort of draw a little square. And then from that square I can have the fingers come out. It's in this kind of a position, it's always a good idea to create at least one big break between, say, the first finger and the rest of them. And that'll help to get that across to the viewer, the fingers kind of splayed on the ground. The thumb, me, just like anybody else, I really struggle to find the proper shape of the thumb. Again, my knowledge of anatomy is not as good as it ought to be. But there certainly is, it sort of bends back here as it comes off of the hand, off of the palm. And then you get sort of these two different parts here. And then you just sort of focus on getting the length right, make sure that it's not too short, not too long. And I think we've got a pretty good hand here for this part. Let me move on to another part of the drawing. Okay, this hand should be easier, although it can be kind of tricky to get these things right. This is a clenched fist. Like I said, Hiro is getting ready to jump right back up and get into the fight again. But you get one good angle here, and then doing the thumb in this position, you're sort of just suggesting the thumb from behind as it bends around to contain the fingers of the fist. And I think, you know, if you get sort of a shape like this, some people like to get another line in here of like the wrinkles of the finger. But beyond that, I don't know if you need too much more than that. One thing, this happens in winter in the last of my 4 books in the season in which it is named after, and so he's wearing a kind of a fur coat here, so I'm going to go ahead and start to indicate that. But that's sort of a detail of things I'm going to probably time-lapse through at the end of this drawing. So let's go ahead and move on to one more detailed spot. Okay, so I'm just going to jump in here and do Hiro's face. You know, this is not a video about drawing faces, so I'm not going to get too much into line-by-line explanations, but in any case, we want to show him angry, determined, and notice how the placement of the cornea of the eye is going to be important here. I'm moving it off to one side, so he's looking back at the guy who just knocked him down, maybe, and by getting that over there in the right spot, hopefully with the nice angry-looking eyebrows, we can just indicate just maybe a little hint of the nose and mouth and show that he's determined to get back up again. Hiro's hair is probably knocked out of place from the fight. It's always a little bit messy and all over the place anyway, so I can be fairly loose about this and not worry too much about everything being absolutely perfect. In any case, this kind of stuff comes over time as you get to know your character and as you practice and draw more and more. So if you want me to do another one, I've done one on hair, but if you want me to do another one that shows more of the line-by-line stuff on how to draw hair in motion like this or something, let me know. I'd be happy to do that. Any kind of video you'd like to see me do, go ahead and let me know. I'm always happy to take suggestions and give you guys the kinds of videos that you want to see. So I'm going to go ahead and time-lapse through some of the detail stuff at the end of this, just because we're running out of time, and I'll come back with some final words at the end. Alright, well, that's about all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching the videos and for subscribing, everybody. Before we go, I do always like to mention that these videos are brought to you by Miki Falls, my manga series in the stores. And the last one, Winter, the scene I was drawing in this video comes from Winter, has just come out. That means all 4 books are now finally in the stores. Thanks in advance to anyone who gets them. And otherwise, thanks for watching the vids, my friends. I will be back with another one real soon.